Okay. All right. And I think we are streaming. Let me verify here. Yes, we are. Okay. Cool. And content is being streamed and we are good to go. So awesome, awesome, awesome. Cool. Well, thank you everyone for attending. Let's go through the usual preliminary speech here, kind of a little, just a couple of minutes. Thank you everyone for attending this Tuesday's Coherence Meditation. So, anyone out there, Facebook, YouTube, we always welcome you over to our live Zoom that we can see you live and in person, and it has zero delay. So, over on Facebook, we restream, we restream over to YouTube, and that covers
Plus,
most
people can,
stuff.
if they don't want to have, can you hear me?
Yeah, I sure can.
Okay, good, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some people, if they are in Zoom, doesn't mean that you have to be with your camera on. You can keep the camera shut. And
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I don't cover that usually, but we only spotlight myself, and when I actually go into meditations, I'll just dim myself out into my light body, and then you'll see Seth there. So, if you do want to head over here to the Zoom live recording, you don't need to put on your camera or anything. Just your presence here is greatly appreciated. So, if you do want to join us there, we have over right here, this QR code. If you want to scan that, that's freedomsnap.org/Seth. That has the live link over to the Zoom link that you can just join live. You will have to have the Zoom client installed on your device, no problem. So over there, you can also find the calendar. Let's see here. I actually had it right here. So you can also join the email newsletter. We do encourage you to do that. Keep up to date here with our weekly events, and also you can add the event to your device's calendar to get reminded every single week when we start. So, anyways, our main YouTube channel is right over there. It's the Cosmic Gaia Community Channel where we host obviously all of our live. We have all of our previous recordings on there. So if you do miss one, feel free to go over there. And while you're at it over there in Facebook or YouTube land, please do subscribe, like, share. Please share this to anyone, friends, family who you think will benefit from these. The format of our weekly coherence meditations are maybe the first 10 or 15 minutes is an intro and a brief discussion, and then we'll go right into the coherence meditation, where we also encourage you to bring your water. So last week's title was kind of a combination, or I guess it was one title, but I kind of switched it up on you, Seth, a little bit, according to the email subject. So the email subject was actually inspiration to do, or I'm sorry, awakening inner change, whereas yours in the email body was the inspiration to do the inner work. And that was a great one last week. So the title for this week, and I found this one to be very cool, is the meditation for adaptation. And I'll let you go in a preface on that. So, one more quickie little blurb is that if you do have a topic in mind, feel free to comment on the Facebook post, on the YouTube post. On the Zoom over here, I do have a poll or a survey that anyone can fill out here. Feel free to, or don't feel free to. But if you have an idea, feel free to. Here, I'm launching it right now. Feel free to fill that out. I'm sure we'll see it, but we'll add it to the queue. So, guys, get relaxed, get comfortable, get some water, set your speaker volume, do whatever you need to do, get in your state, and let's get the party started here. So, off to you, Seth.
thank you, Greg, as always. And that's state of being, not not the United States. There's no borders in any of this. We are free. And if we're not, we're going to work on becoming more and more free. So everything Greg shared, yes, we love it. We're getting a lot of people reaching out, loving what we're doing. And tonight, I'm not going to speak that much about what we're going to do. I'd rather get right into it because nobody is exempt from meditating to adapt to the world that we're in. but our state of being, not our physical state that we live in, our state of being is probably the most powerful asset, I guess you could call it, the most powerful, what would you call it? Let's see. Almost okay. So, like there's this idea that the Earth's magnetic core deflects solar flares. And if anybody's ever looked at that and seen it, whether it's true or whatever, but that is true of us. We have that in us. We can literally be so coherent, so in tune with reality, what we are, that our energy field deflects people, places, things, toxins, artificial intelligence, airwaves, all the different things that are happening. We can get so in tune with our own life force that that stuff gets deflected. So that's what we're going to focus on today. So, yes, if you have water, keep it near you, or if you don't and you can get some, or juice or whatever, just get something that we can charge up before this meditation is over, because it's nice to have something that you put energy into that can continue reminding you and allowing you to feel the efforts of your work here tonight with yourself and with us. So thank you.
And I did find it, so I'm actually reading the email that we put out, and I found it very interesting because you're talking about like the barrage of human-made frequencies, the radio waves, the Wi-Fi, like, the 5G antennas and everything that are just constantly bombarding us. And then going into just feeling disoriented, sick, poisoned, anxious, depressed. Yeah, I mean, we all see that out there.
It's
So I
being
think this is,
normalized, right? Even
yeah, it is.
it's being normalized by society, and it's crazy. You look at all these systems, like the judicial system, like the healthcare system. Yeah, of course there are good individuals who are in it that don't agree with a lot of the way they operate, but I mean, let's face it, a lot of our big institutional systems today, they want to get people in there. They want to get people sick because that's their livelihood. It's so crazy the amount of everything that's happening. But we know that such behavior is not temporary, but we can make it temporary if we really begin to recognize where our own moral compass is. So, so wherever you are, sit down, lay down, just really calm your body, calm your thoughts. Just totally send a signal throughout your entire being that for the next half hour to an hour that we spend together, you are going to choose to be as relaxed as possible and at the same time brightly aware. So you're going to be completely relaxed in your body, and you're going to keep your awareness, you, the person you are, the person that exists when you open your eyes in the morning and you look in a mirror. You're going to relax your body, and you're going to keep the awareness that is you illuminated, bright, shining. You are going to be wide awake, while at the same time, your body will be deeply asleep or almost. And don't worry, can let go of all expectations. There is no right or way or wrong way to do any of this. It is a practice. And like any habit, like any skill, any state of being, our goals, our readiness to let go of our past that can follow us around, we get to come to this place where, yes, everything is united. There is one life force in everywhere and in everything. But what we do with that life force defines us. How we relate to this life force that we are, how we perceive it, how we feel it affecting us. That is where the ability to be unique occurs. The ability to be the artist of your life, the sculptor of your image, chipping away what is no longer required to be there and allowing the part of us that we all know is there, but that maybe the world didn't encourage us enough. Now it is. Us coming together and in so many other meditations, cultures, the world has so many individuals who are intentionally doing kind of what we're doing here. And there's cultures that have been practicing these states of being. Nobody even knows how long, thousands of years. And because they don't speak English, a lot of what surfaces from those communities, those cultures, a lot of it doesn't get revealed because it just doesn't need to. But interestingly enough, more and more is starting to be revealed because whether we are inside of New York City somewhere or we are in the Arctic North Pole, no matter where we are, from the busiest to the most relaxed place there is, everybody and everything is being affected by the states of being that we all choose, prioritize. And if we're paying attention, if we're really allowing our sense of self, our awareness to expand beyond the limits that we didn't realize we were creating in society, in the civilized world, the more we intentionally get into a state where we are recognizing the life force that is causing the heart to beat, and we are intentionally communing our sense of self with this selfless energy that is infinity, that is truly the way to reshape, to restructure ourselves and this world. And the way it's really going to happen is through practice. And yeah, it could be uncomfortable, and it most certainly already is. But in remaining consistent to exercise moments of sharp or intense focus on this relaxation and illumination at the same time, the more we allow the polarities in and around our being to become neutralized, to become balanced, the way that all of this happens is for us to tune down the volume of all our self-talk, of everything we think we know about reality that, for the most part, was taught to us through language. So much of who we think we are and what this world appears to be come from the primary language that most of us speak, and even secondary languages. English is used as war strategy. It's kind of how it all came about. And if we don't know that and we're having a tough time, we express whatever it is we feel through our language. And all the words that all of us have been speaking our entire lives have been said incalculable amounts of time. Every word, every sentence, every emotion, every thought, belief, behavior, action, it has all been said so many times. And now the interesting part is, how was it said? Because if we're stuck, if we feel like we're jailed or limited by our own states of being, the way we exercise this language or any language, those words become charged with whatever the predominant focus of them has been. And this is a really fascinating and intense idea. However, by allowing ourselves to be aware that so much of who we think we are and what we think this world is held together by all these words. When we can become aware of that, we can then be able to create liberation from it. Because out of nowhere, we just suddenly feel like we've said a lot of these words before that are really emotionally charged, really intense. And the charge of energy that we put into these words is playing out in so many individuals' lives in every part of the world. But when we recognize that, we can take responsibility for how we perceive that. And we recognize that much of it is an emanation of what we have been taught, mostly by men with really small brains who don't understand or didn't understand the complexities of human states of being when they are intentionally aligned with this miraculous energy that is the heart and soul. It keeps in coherence the heart and the brain and every other vital organ, gland, blood, everything in us has been imprinted with all of this spelling, all of these words. But when we recognize that, suddenly we're able to give it a name and articulate our own inner process of realizing that. And because we can call it something, because we can recognize that it is a part of our past that we don't have to carry with us anymore. So just having the idea of these concepts creates like a footing, a place to put your feet into, to jump out of. When you feel like you are carrying around all the messages of your past, it can be really heavy, hard to carry around. And interestingly, within a moment, we can shed our skin. We can intentionally move beyond the past form of who we think we are and begin to evolve, to move directly into what we are, this animating principle, this life force, whatever it means to you, whatever we might call something that so far outweighs any and all language together. And that ultimately we can't comprehend with the conditioned self we believe ourselves to be, but we can be in alignment with it. Our intelligence is able to be profoundly influenced by this innate intelligence of our being, the miracle of life that is causing our heart to beat can be such a profound practice of connecting to that when we continue to connect to be conscious of, allows us to break free of our own self exile, and that the world has taught us we are. And look at where we are now, globally, as a species. We have all of these thoughts, beliefs, behaviors, actions all stemming from learned behavior of monkey see, monkey do. We are all at all times learning about ourselves through the observation of others. We are almost at all times being influenced by what the masses deemed as normal. And without even realizing it, we have allowed our sense of self, our sense of self to be a product of society. But we're not products unless we allow ourselves to be. And from a rational thought perspective, from an intuitive perspective, from the heart, from an instinctual perception, from the gut, why would we want to take this beautiful, miraculous spark of life that is supporting every one of us, whether we are aware of it or not? Why would we take for granted the most important relationship of any of our lives and instead focus on things, products, the amount of chemicals it takes to make all of these products, the amount of artificial frequency made by men's machines? When we begin to really tune in to our own self-awareness and what it's made of, the more common sense begins to become common again. Why would we place more value on phones, computers, toxic toys? Basically, every industry there is are all run by giant multinational corporations who are in it for the money. And all these products and beliefs and behaviors are all being transmitted to us, through us, so repetitiously that it becomes normalized. And all of this behavior has become so normalized that to even call it into question is not normal to our friends and family. And so this all has been happening at a scale that is incomprehensible. It seems like everybody everywhere has been affected by companies that are only in it for profit and power, that leave a wake of death just by their very function. Why would we continue to give attention to so many products, toys, beliefs, behaviors, actions? Why would we continue to feed that, especially realizing that these bodies haven't really had adequate time to adapt to all of these products, all of their toxicity, all of these crazy radio waves, satellite waves, just the energy coming out of products all of us use every day are creating their own energy field that is artificial. There really doesn't seem to be a way to escape this at the surface level, but there is. There is a way, and it only becomes a possibility when we really begin to allow it the ability to make us more aware of this awareness itself to the degree that we become so empowered by realizing and experiencing ourselves as this miracle in action, that with our practice of, with our intentional connection to, we prioritize, we reprioritize what we value. And when all of this toxic stuff that we've been valuing from a very shallow place, that isn't our fault. When we begin to start feeling the most important relationship that any of us could have, and we realize that we could be having this relationship be the primary focus of our day-to-day, moment-to-moment lives, and that the more we focus on it, the more it aligns us to its nature that is infinite, and that, like gravity, is an invisible force of energy that is everybody and everything. And to know that through experience, to literally experience yourself as that, as perfectly connected to that as anyone could ever be, we begin to reprioritize our values. And when we begin having experiences that this intentional reprioritization of value delivers to us, and all the things we've been taught to value, the products of society, suddenly they're not so valuable, because to have this relationship with your own life force and to get together in person, in communities, and form relationships of individuals who prioritize the most important relationship, the portal of our lives, of coming from nothing, no one, nowhere. That is a portal of how we enter into this world. And that portal is either ever evolving with us being conscious of it, or we're not conscious of it. And it still is doing what it has been made for. And so when we choose to create friendships, communities, when we choose to come together with others that recognize this attention, this relationship, this perceptual awareness of this infinite life force that we are, can deliver to our state of being something so far beyond comprehension, but that we can comprehend by allowing ourselves to be aligned with it. There isn't any product of civilization that can equal our lives. All of these dreams about what abundance should look like, of all these different civilized dreams and their instruction of how we should be focusing more and more of our attention, our miraculous attention. We are taught to close the focus, to focus on limitation, to focus on everything but the most important point of focus. And when we can move beyond the trauma of it, in many ways, it's kind of laughable because here we are, all of these beings empowered with the same life force, but that we're creating the conditions of based upon all the things we've learned in this world. And so we get to change that here, now, in ourselves, in each other. And this is how we make a quantum leap to move beyond all of the perceptually conditioned states of beliefs, behaviors, actions that keep us imprisoned in a world that we don't even know has been our prison. When we begin to allow ourselves to be aware of how deep and wide, how far, however close, how everything, great and small, exists in and around us. And the only thing it doesn't have is our attention. But when we shift our focus, when we begin to form a conscious relationship with this life force that is allowing us to be here, that upgrades all of our bodily systems. It evolves the way we perceive the world and how it means to us, how it feels to us. And in the blink of an eye, we can go from being totally shut out from our greater best self to becoming completely integrated into it. And through behaviors like this, by creating and prioritizing this habit of knowing ourselves as we truly are together, that is what's going to allow these bodies we are in that are being bombarded by all this artificial stuff. When we begin to perceive what we really are, these bodies will detox from all of that. Like the Earth's core deflecting solar radiation, so too do our bodies and their awareness become when we choose to be active participants in the creation and structure of our own lives. And when we have made this the priority as our individual selves, and then we network and connect and role model this in our communities, that's how these bodies can adapt. And at the same time, there exists the potential of not just surviving, but even thriving. Can you imagine what it would be like if we have friends, families, loved ones, all in the same toxic world that apparently needs healing now more than ever because this is global? What if we were thriving in all of this? What if we begin to feel the pulse of our life force so deeply that it moves every thought, belief, behavior, and action to the degree that all the old beliefs, behaviors, and actions fall away because you are consciously creating a relationship that is true love, that holds the infinite capacity to demonstrate the real nature of creative life force. With every time that we succeed getting closer to that, the more that begins to express itself to us, through us, and into this world. And we are just getting started. When we begin to feel that and feel what true unconditional creativity is, how that energy is the fuel to even make love a possibility. It is the source life force of everything so far beyond our normal comprehension, but that when we choose to break out of what we think is normal, this energy is with us, allowing it all to become possible. It was always there. Maybe it just wanted to see the degree that we're willing to focus on it because we are not separate from it. The only place that's happening is in our own perceptual awareness. And we have been taught to not focus on that. We have been taught to focus on all kinds of really silly things. But what if all that has transpired? What if all of that has happened so that it provides the opportunity for all of us as individuals and as a collective to get together and to show that the natural law of life itself is what truly governs this life, and that all the current institutions and governments and corporations, yeah, it has an effect. But what is the effect that's happening here? What is it on the planet Jupiter? What is the effect of everything happening in this world, all the artificial stuff? How is any of that affecting Saturn or Pluto? As scary and limited as everything appears to be here, it is not even a speck of dust in the community of our celestial objects. And when you begin to know that through experience, it is comic, because what would allow us to be focused on the most infinitesimal speck of dust there ever could be, to the degree that we amplify the belief that we are what society has taught us we are? When we are able to view that objectively, it is comic despite all of its tragedy. But the beautiful part about it is, not only do we adapt as a result of all of this, not only do we embody and role model this internal coherence between all of these profound parts and systems of our body, we have a galaxy that is so massive. We are in it right now. If your awareness started expanding out of your head and body and just continuing to expand upwards and outwards and beyond words, then we would begin to experience ourselves as these bodies, but in a galactic scale. And that's always there, whether we're paying attention to it or not. And I'm sure that because you're here, you feel similarly. You recognize that there is so much in this world that we can embody and inspire in the world. There has always already existed countless solutions to everything we have ever even thought was a problem in this world. It just needs enough of us to expand beyond the confines of our socially indoctrinated, institutionally conditioned states of being into galactic states, universal states, into states of being that are so totally, completely in touch with itself everywhere that it is everywhere. It is everyone, everything. And the more we begin to open ourselves up to that possibility, the more that possibility starts to come into our world and make itself a reality. because it already is. Maybe it just wants to see how many of us are going to focus on it. Maybe despite all the tragedy, it is kind of comical. So wherever you are, just be completely relaxed in your body from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. Just intentionally relax yourself while, like our sun, in your relaxation, you are also bright and shining. And so you know that you are celestial forces all working together to allow you to be this person you are with us, as these people we believe ourselves to be, in concert, in community with each other, because we love and we care, and we are going to normalize that. So take your attention, take the calm, bright awareness, and if you can feel your heartbeat, allow yourself to feel that pulse in the water or coffee or juice or tea, whatever you brought for water. Let yourself feel your heart beating in it. And if you can't do that, don't worry. Just allow your body, the energy field that is animating your body, let your water and drink be influenced by your state of being and the pulse of your heart and whole body, filled with infinite possibility and potential. And put a smile on your face and feel it in your heart. And let that water be charged by you in concert, in coherence to the miracle that we all are. And so please share this with anybody who you feel would benefit from it. Like, love, tag, share, you know that. Let's get the message out there far and wide. It's time for unity consciousness, not division, not consumerism. We're all set with that. Right, Greg? All right. We'll see you next week.
100%. And I'll see you at the
111.
portal. I'll see you at the portal again to Venus. All right.
Thank you,
Blessings,
everybody.
everyone. Have a great week. Bye bye.